Yeah, good morning, everyone. Depending on your location, I want to say a happy day. Yeah, in preview to the previous, I say you follow up to the previous video I did about do you know your God? Please, your God. I just want us to discuss some things again. Now, what is your picture of the God that you say you are worshiping? How do you perceive God? How do you see God? This God you worship, you as a religionist, being a Christian, a Judaizer, Hindu, Buddhist, traditional Africa, religionist, Christian, anyone you belong to. This God that you are worshiping now, mentally, in your subconsciousness, how does it look like? At least when you have a friend, when you have somebody you are doing business with, you have somebody you are looking up to, you must know the person. That was why I asked the other time in the other previous video, do you know your God? What picture do you have of this God? Now, within the week, I was discussing with some people again, very religious people. They were saying, no, that is another topic for another day. When I was talking about the Bible, that the Bible that we have today is not the original Bible. They are not the complete books that you have today. The 64 books or thereabout are not the only books that were written. And that even when Jesus was alive and the disciples, they did not use the New Testament because none of the New Testament books was written when Jesus Christ and the disciples were around. That was for Christians. So the man was arguing, was telling me, no, these are the books of the Bible. Yes, no other one. Other book is, there's no other book. This or this, other literature. I said, okay, no problem. That is where your knowledge ends. Yes, and so I asked him, who is God? He said, God is a spirit. I said, okay, God is a spirit. How does he look like? He said he's a spirit now, an old man, because he's the ancient of days. He's a Christian, so he knows what ancient of days mean because they have the songs. Ancient of days, as old as you are, as old as you are. You will never change, or you will never change, you will never fail, depending on how you want to put the lyrics. You understand? hmm So, but I used to tell people sometimes that something that will surprise people with most of all because we say God has been in existence for long. When we see him that day, expected to see an old man, just as that man was telling me, was it on Tuesday also, that he's going to be an old man with a beard, like we see photos of like people in those days that they bring to our knowledge and our understanding, people like Abraham, other people, though it might not even be those people because could be just drawings or other pictures that through films. You understand? What is your own, you, that is worshiping God, that you say you know God, you have a God that you worship, being a Christian, a Muslim, or whatever religion. What picture of God do you have in your subconsciousness? Who do you communicate with when you pray? What is the mental picture of the person you are discussing with, that you are talking to, that you have? It matters a lot. That's why we talked in our previous video. We said in our previous video that who is this your God? Do you know God? Now, you are communicating with somebody you don't know. That means you are communicating with abstract. You are just talking to the air. Most religion, not all religion believe that God is a spirit. Most religions believe that God is a spirit. Now, if God is a spirit, how do physical body communicate with the spirit? That is a question you need to ask yourself so that you'll be able to communicate with this person very well. What is your understanding of this person, the nature of this person you are communicating with? How does this person relate to you? Now, the way you communicate to a president is different from the way we communicate to somebody that is your age mate. Now, how do you see this God? Because today you see in some religion, you see people shouting, making noise, shaking their head, demonstrating. Different religion, even in Christianity, in traditional Africa worshippers, you see people jump up, turn around, twist their body, and they say they are talking to somebody. Imagine if I'm standing before you and maybe you want to ask me something, we want to discuss something, and you are just turning around, shouting at the top of your voice, jumping up, what will I do? I will just walk away and leave you alone. That is me. So I just want you to imagine you are talking to somebody you say is a supreme being, bigger than you, superior, better, intelligent, all-knowing, everything. Just as much as you can put it, and just look at your behavior towards the person. What is that mental picture that you have in your subconsciousness of this person you call your God, the God of religion, the person you refer to? How do you relate with him? Who is this your God? How do you see God? Like the song that, some people, they look down, they say it's God, but what is your approach to this God? Like the song that is, as I used to listen to when I was still young in those days, they say, how do you see God? Do you see God as a G-O-D or a D-O-G? You know the difference between the two. How do you see God? But in essence, the way most of us, we take this God, we take him as a D-O-G, not as a G-O-D. So there is a God. Yes, that is an indisputable fact. There is God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the creators of the things we can see and the things that we cannot see. But how do you see this God? What is your approach to this God? What is your understanding of this God? That is what we are trying to point out here. Forget all that religion has taught you. Within you as a man, as a rational human being, as a thinking human being, have you ever sat down, examine yourself, examine your surrounding, and say, yeah, who is this God? I want to know this God. What is your understanding? What is that that you keep in mind? The picture of this God that came out, or is it the picture of somebody, of the man that asked Jesus? And that is another funny thing. Again, you go to some places, some churches, you see the picture of that actor, that actor Jesus of Nazareth, and you see the picture there that this is Jesus. Funny enough, and people have that mental picture that yes, this is God, this is Jesus, God, and somebody that is there in Europe or in America. Come on, and that is the picture so many people have of God. But ask yourself, who is this God? Is he a physical being to you? Is he a spiritual being to you? If he's a spiritual being, how does the spiritual being look like when you know that physical eyes cannot see the spiritual? It takes spiritual entity, it takes spiritual being. Now, I love what, I'm a Christian. I love what St. Paul said. He said, we are just see darkly, like a cloud covering. So most of us, not as we think that he is. That's why we must look inward. Look inward. Examine the way we relate with this God, the God that we believe created everything, so that we will not religionize him, because it is very dangerous when you place God, when you begin to lock God, that you claim he created everything, and you bring him so low to the extent that even as if you are the one controlling him. Today you see people make fun that they are calling God, call God on a physical device with telephone, communicating to heaven. Where is heaven? Where do you know that heaven is? And people are clapping. Oh, my man of God is talking to God. He's communicating with heaven. Really? Well, I want to end it here because I don't want the script to be too long. We'll still come back again. But I want to hear from those. Please, genuine contribution, because I know why I'm making these videos. They are just part of the research for my new book that is titled The Psychology of Religion. So please put out your comment, your opinion, and I know how to work on them. Thank you. And I pray that the real God, not the God of religion, the God that created the heavens, the sky, the moon, the sun, like David said, if I look at all that you have created, all your creation, the stars, the moon, Everything surrounding us, they point to the fact that there is a God. That is the God I'm talking about. Not the God that somebody comes to tell you is the abracadabra, the God that used telephone in heaven. The God. No, 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 no. That God will open your eyes of understanding. And as you comment, as you make your contribution, you will see what you are supposed to see. May the eyes of your understanding be enlightened. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for listening. Stay blessed.